Hey everyone, welcome back to Unwind with Danny and Dulce. If you guys remember last week, y'all voted for us to split our super long 2-hour episode into two smaller episodes. So this is going to be part 2 of episode 2, where we just kind of go into depths of some things that's been going on in our lives and what God has been doing in our family. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Sometimes we need to I know it's hard. I know it's hard to let your guard down and really let people know how you're doing. But if you're not doing good, you don't have to be like me and go into full detail of why you're not good, but say, I'm struggling, but I'm pushing through. Like someone today my friend asked me hey, I haven't seen you. How are you doing? And I said, holding on by a thread, but good. Because literally, we're going through another season of life where God just wants us to fully trust Him. Mm-hmm. And it's very unknown, but I'm good. I'm gonna cry. And you missed it. You were in the bathroom yesterday. Or maybe you didn't miss it. But when we all got home and I had just finished cleaning, and I love to clean with music full blast. If you want to make me happy, leave the house with the kids and just let me clean with music full blast. That's what he went to pick up the girls, and he went early to wait in the car pickup line. So he was gone for more than an hour, and I got the house. We had already started together, but I finished it while he was gone.
Oh, yeah.
And I had music full blast, and then the song was just on, and the girls, they always come home very hypered and whatnot. And there's a song that I recently have had on replay called in the Room. And it gets hyped up towards the middle end of the song, the bridge. That's what that part is called.
Yeah.
Or it's he's in the room. I could search the high on earth, but he's in the room. I can search down below, he's in the room. I can lay my bed in hell, he's in the room. Everywhere I go, he's in the room. But they're singing it hyped up. The girls are hyper, they start jumping on the couch. And normally I'd be like, get off the couch, stop jumping on the couch. But yesterday, you were in the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
I started jumping on the couch with them in that part of the song. And they looked at me they're like, is she okay? Because I swear to you, I always yell at them, don't jump on the couch. And they kind of just froze what is she doing? And I had to tell them, I was like, keep going, keep going. And so we have 2 couches. We have the really long one and then the love one. Uh-huh. And so I had them run from the beginning of the long one and then jump to the love one, jump to the floor, and then get back on. And we were just jumping from couch to couch on the floor, just thinking this.
Gosh. How did I miss that?
You took that long in the bathroom. And I don't even think I think you were just going number 1. But the song was so hyped up and so fast paced that we were able to jump on the couch and we were jumping on the floor. And literally while I was doing that, in my mind, I have God, thank you for this joy. Thank you, because our ship is rocking in a storm right now, but I'm at peace and I have this joy. So that's when my friend asked me today, how are you doing? I was like, we're hanging on by a thread, but good. We're good. We have this sense of, ¿cómo se dice? Sense of peace.
Sense of peace.
And just knowing that we don't know what the heck God is doing in this season, mm-hmm. but we trust Him, because if He got us through roaches and bed bugs and small apartments and purchase of a house in the midst of family losses, financial struggles, not knowing what to eat, He didn't leave us at all in those moments, there's no way He's going to be I'm just going to let them struggle this time. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
There's the difference where you're just numb with life and you don't feel anything. And I've been there before. But now I'm just all right, come on, life. What you got? Throw it at me. And then the devil tries to come and I'm just get out of here. Literally, I've been telling the devil, you have an eviction notice. You need to leave. You need to go. And Even with the girls like having bad dreams and whatnot, like I'm good. I'm hanging on by a thread, but I'm good. And it's just another season of change. And I'm gonna leave the floor up to you to say if you want to share and answer the question we had.
I mean, we might as well at this point.
Go for it.
All right.
Here goes another hour of this podcast, guys.
Nah.
Or we might just leave you hanging here, and we'll see you next week on Thursday for episode 3.
So the question was directed to me. The question is, Danny, how does it feel to have left your job and start a new journey somewhere else? So,
You left your job?
I left my job. I left my job of 7 years.
The job that moved us here.
The job that moved us here. The job that got us this house. Well, I mean, God got us this house, but yeah. I feel great. And I didn't just leave my job just to leave my job. I was getting to a point in that place where it was like, I just didn't want to be there. I would go through seasons of just showing up just because I had to show up. But in my mind, I was like, I really do not want to be here. And you would see it in my performance at work. Like, orders would be kind of done just like, meh. Things would go out late. And then I'd go into a season of just being, encouraged and like feeling accomplished and, actually being at work. But then I went into one of those seasons where I just didn't want to be at work anymore. And then I never came out of that season where I was just like, I just don't want to be here. And it's not like a laziness, I don't want to be here, but like there's so many other things that I want to do, but I can't because I'm here. I'm stuck in this place.
I'm wasting my life here.
I'm wasting my life here. And then I like literally, I'm like one of the youngest guys there. They hired on another guy who was younger than me. He was literally like 21. But like I was there 7 years, and the next guy after me was there 15 years, and then there's another guy who's there for 25 years, and then there's another guy there who's been almost 30 years there, and it's just like, I look at them and I'm just like, I don't want to be here as long as they are. And then I would tell that to one of the guys, and he's like, trust me, we've all said the same thing. And look at us 30 years later, we're still here. And I'm just like, yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to be like that. I was like, I just don't want to be here for 30 years. There's so much more I want to do. And so I just started looking. And I started looking at all these places. And I would get discouraged because, I'd be like, I don't want to be in a warehouse anymore. So I was like, let me look for an office job. And then I start seeing all these requirements just for like a simple administrative assistant. And it's just like the barrier to entry is so high now. And I'm just like, all I have is warehouse experience at this point. So I got real discouraged. And so then I found this one job. And it's funny because it's a job that you had been telling me for years to apply for. And it's for a school bus driver. So the district that we're in is so short in drivers that it's just like, it's kind of like they're just kind of hiring anybody. Like, as long as you can meet some basic requirements and get your
permit,
your CDL permit, like, we'll take you on and we'll train you and we'll get you your CDL. And so I was like, all right, I'll do it. I was just like, it's what I kind of didn't really want to do it because I was just like, I just don't want to deal with kids. But I'm just like, if it's gonna get me out of this place, and then I didn't think about it at the time, but then I started thinking about it later. Like, it's giving me more time at home. Like, anytime the girls are off, I'm gonna be off. Mm-hmm. Winter break, Thanksgiving break, summer break, spring break. like I'll be off too. And so that'll give me the time that I want to be able to work on so many other things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're in right now.
He skipped a whole lot.
There's a whole lot. It's a whole process.
It got to a point where I told him, you have my full support to just quit your job and we'll figure it out as we go. And I have text messages, like long text messages I sent you, and then I called you and I was like when I send you those text messages, it's not just like I'm chilling on bed and I just text you. No, I went into war. Like, again, I had my music on blast. Bobby's was dancing with me. I was praying. That's the day that I told you I prayed in tongues again. Out of nowhere. And I was just praying and I can just feel God saying like, just trust me. Just trust me. Just let go and trust me. Like, literally let go of everything you have. Give it all to me and just trust me. Take this leap of faith and trust me. Like, literally, like that picture of like the staircases and how like you want to be at the top but you can't see each step. Like, literally, that's what I was picturing. Like, we can't see the next step, but once we take it, God will provide. And once we take that step, God will provide. Like, again, we've gone through so much where like it was like, okay, God, like you've gotten us through before, then you'll get us through again. And so I called you and I was like, if you want to quit today, give your 2 weeks notice today, like I'm all for it. Like, do it. And I was like, but I'll leave it up to you, I told him. I left it up to him. And he was Mr. I don't know, I can't just quit and not have any backup. Like, I can't. And you're being responsible. You're being responsible. You're being logic of saying, I have a family to support. I have a house to pay. Like, if I don't have a job, we're going to end up in the streets. Like, that's the logic. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like, we don't live by logic. We live serving a mighty God that is beyond logic. He created logic. Like, he's gonna have our backs. And even if we take the wrong turn and even if we mess up, like, his grace and his mercy is so big where he'll correct us and he'll move us back into track and help us fix our mistakes. Because again, even in that, he has done before. Like, we've made dumb decisions before where he slaps us literally like, that was a dumb decision, but I got you. He's done that before too. So like, I had so much peace about him just quitting. Like, I could just envision it of just how God is just gonna be faithful. And I came back and I was like, so did you quit? And he was like, no. And he told me that and I was like, all right, well, there's one more job you can apply for. And then it was the bus driver job that I have been telling him for years, because I had the same vision. Like, it'll give you more time. You're not always driving. You're not driving the whole day. And there'll be some free time well, at least we assume. And there'll be some free time in between routes and stuff, like, where you can work on other dreams and visions. And so, yeah, he applied for it. And literally, when we tell you guys that we don't know what God is doing right now, we don't know.
We don't know, because I quit on a Friday. So my last day was on a Friday. And, okay, so the day before Thursday, I had my appointment at DPS so I can, go take my exams for the permit. And I'm thinking I'm going to get in there. I'm going to take all 5 exams and I'm going to get my permit. And now I get there, and then the time it takes them to, get me checked in, get me talking to a person, then get me on taking the exams. I only had time for 1 exam. And they were like, you're not going to have time. We close in half an hour. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm coming back on Monday then. Because I was like, tomorrow's my last day. I can't just leave early. So I went to work on Friday, last day. And Monday came around, and I just didn't feel ready. I was just like, I'm not ready to finish taking these exams, so let me just take today and study. And so took Monday to study, and then I was like, go Tuesday, first thing in the morning. And as we're getting ready to go as I'm getting ready to go take the exam, something comes up. And it's just like, all right, there's something we have to attend to. I'm not going to have time to go again to take my exam. And then I'm like, all right, I'll go Wednesday. I go Wednesday. All right, pass one exam. I fail the next one. All right, you're done for the day. Got to come back the next day. All right, so I come back the next day, Thursday. I just have 3 exams left. I take the 2. I pass them both. I'm on the 3rd exam. And you're allowed, on that specific one, you were allowed 5 wrong answers. I was at my 5 wrong. I was on the last question of the test, and I get it wrong. And I was just like, oh, come on. Like, I just had this one last test. So I was like, all right, so I'm going to have to come back another day. So I spent a whole week, much longer than what I expected it would take, to finish these exams and get my permit. And all this time, I am not hearing back from the hiring person at the district where I applied at.
And not to mention, like, rewind a little bit, like, for the day of the interview, like, you almost didn't make it to
I almost didn't make it to that interview.
Like, the car had already been giving us issues, the car he was driving, and that day it just completely gave out.
And just would not turn on anymore.
And he ended up driving into a ditch when someone was trying to help him move it into a gas station. But guys, even then, like, that morning, I had just felt like, cover your family with the blood of Jesus. Like, cancel the plans of the enemy and cover your family with the blood of Jesus. And I always do. But that day, like, I was a little more firm about it. Should have been more firm about it. We get breakfast. We eat together. And I had already had a play date planned out.
Yeah.
And so I was being selfish and wanting to still make it to that play date. But I had already felt, go with him. Take the truck and go with him, because don't let today be the day that car breaks down. I had already felt it. And I ignored it. And I didn't go with you. But I took my time to leave. Like, even then, I still, even after you left, I still felt it. And I was like, you know what? Let me wait until I hear that he made it for me to leave. And as soon as you sent me that text, the car stopped. I grabbed the baby, I grabbed the diaper bag, I got in the car, and I left. I was like, oh, Lord, I'm sorry for not listening. Like, I knew I had to be the one to take him. And I was just, again, praying. Like, this season has just been praying. Like, I've been walking with God for good 12 years, 11 years. And this is the most I've prayed. This is the most I've been praying, except for my first year when I was like in the prayer ministry. Like, this is the most I've ever prayed. Like, every moment I'm just like, God. And the sermon that we had heard at church that Sunday, like, God will run the race. Like, when the enemy says that your race is over, when the world says that your race is over, God will step in as your father and say it's not over and push you through. And I was just praying on the way, and I was like, Lord, you promised that you would run with us and push us through. And I was like, and I wasn't hearing back from you anymore. And I was just like, God, please just send him help. Like, if it's your will for him to get it to that interview, send someone to help him right now. I was like, send your angels, whether it's heavenly angels or angels here on earth. Like, someone needs to stop and help him, Lord. And as soon as I get there, like, he'll just get in the truck and we'll go in the truck and worry about the car later. And sure enough, I get there and you have 2 cars that stopped to help you, but one of them had 3 men in it.
Yeah, they were on their way to work.
And they were helping him, but they helped him a little too much because the car ended up in a ditch. But yeah, I got there and I was like, go, baby. And he's like, what? I was like, get in the truck and go to the interview. I'll stay here with the truck. Like, I hadn't told him the plan. I was like, I'll stay here with the car. You get in the truck and go. And later that day, he tells me that as I'm pulling in, the men were like, "Is that your wife?" And he's like, "Yeah." And like, she looks pissed, bro. And I was pissed, but I was pissed at the enemy for getting in the way. Um, and a lot of people will tell you like, and this is why we backed off on sharing, because people's point of views will come in and be like, well, are you sure that was the enemy stopping you? Like, what if that was God stopping you? But the fact that we prayed along the way every single time and we're like completely shut the door, like it hasn't been complete shut doors. It's just been delays.
Delays.
Like the door has not completely shut. It's just been delays. And oh, well, why did he quit his job if this one wasn't set in stone yet? Well, because the way that they explained it at the interview, and when they said, if you already have a job, this is when you'll put your 2 week notice, so that by the time your 2 week notice is up, we start the hiring process and there's no time in between.
Mm-hmm.
He put his 2 week in notice, the time frame that they told him, and there's just been delays. There's just been delays for the last, today is 2 weeks.
Yeah, today has been 2 weeks.
The day when we're recording, it's been 2 weeks since he left his job, but hasn't officially started the other job. But still then, we're just like, all right, God. But it's so crazy because I don't remember, it was on your last day or a few days before your last day, when you were already not hearing much from the coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, and I had already had a thought during the day, but he's like, you know what I've thought? And I'm like, what? Because I have a thought. And I told you too. I was like, because I have a thought too. And he's like, what did you say? What if for whatever reason she just doesn't hire me?
Oh, yeah.
Anymore. And it's too late now. And I was like, you know what? I had the same thought, but I had this thought. I was like, remember when I told you just quit and we're just going to trust God? Like God has better plans if he's just going to provide. Like just quit without nothing. And you said, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'd rather have something to back off in. I was like, what if God was like, all right, you don't want to fully trust me and you want to have something to fall back on? I'll make you believe you have something to back off on to get you to quit. If that's what it's going to take me to quit, then that's what I'm going to do. And once you quit, I ain't going to have that for you. I picture God in so many ways, guys. Like, above all, so loving, so merciful, so graceful. But the conversations I have with God, it's like I'm talking to a homie sometimes. I was like, God told you to take that leap of faith. So you guys, if it hasn't been cleared by now, the goal is to work full-time ministry, full-time on something that glorifies God and is for his kingdom 100%. That doesn't mean that the job that you're in now is not a job that's going to glorify God and you can't work for his kingdom, because we're supposed to be the light everywhere we go and make our workplace another place where we can bring his kingdom by bringing his love. But we want to do full-time ministry, full-time, use our gifts and talents that God has given us, inside a church, outside a church, wherever it is. But that is the goal.
I mean, it's also could be like your God-given gifts and talents are most useful at a job like that. Like maybe you're really good with numbers, so you're an accountant or something, or maybe you're just really good with people, so you're like a salesperson, or you're a customer service. And even in those jobs, like you can bring God's love and his light to those people that you encounter every day, because a lot of times you could be the only Bible that they can encounter that day, that week, or in their lives. So it's like, everybody's different. But I mean, like in my case, like the gifts and talents that I've been given is just like, I'm a musician. So it's like, I want to write songs, I want to produce songs, I want to play songs that glorify God. So that's like in my position. So obviously, it's like in me, it's like that's what I want to do, full-time music.
Mm-hmm. And me, guys, I don't know what's gonna happen with me, but right now I'm just focused on supporting my husband's dreams first. What were you gonna say? I what?
I don't remember.
Sorry.
It left my head.
My focus right now are my kids. I want my kids and me, like in this season, like I said, this is the most I prayed. Like, I just want to be in firm foundation where no matter what comes our way in our lives in this world, like this world is scary. Like yesterday, we woke up to the news of a mass shooting in Maine and a Category 5 hurricane in Acapulco that we didn't even know about. Like every day, not to mention what's going on in Israel, like every day there's something new. And like my goal right now is to get us all in a place where like our foundation is so firm that nothing will knock us down. But you know, I still have my gifts and my talents and my passions. Like I still love people. Even before I was a mom and was a stay-at-home mom, like I never ever liked the idea of having a full-time job either. Like all the jobs I had before, like where I had early morning free and I would start late morning, or I had all day free and I had like evening shifts, or I only worked 3 days a week, like, and that's the way I loved it. Because even while I had my girls, like the days that I wasn't working, I loved to spend time with people. Like when we first got married and I had the job where I only worked 3 days a week, like all the other days I would spend with my mom or with someone, like coffee dates, Bible studies. Like I was always I was always investing into people. And I was just thinking that the other day, like I love to invest into people because my spiritual mama invested so much into me that's the example I have. Like Mama Bear, I don't know if you're listening or not, and I think I've texted her at least once thanking her, like I am where I am because of you. Like that woman poured her life into me so much that the like 2 times that she left me stranded, and I mean like stranded, like Bible study canceled because no one else could make it and I was the only one, so she just canceled. Like I was mad. I'm like, continue doing it with just me. Like we're not canceling. And then one time it flooded. Remember how the road I lived in, River Road, flooded?
Oh.
And I was like, go get a boat and come get me. Because every other time that she could, and even I bet you there was days where she didn't want to, but she still did. Like she still pushed through and she still came and got me and like poured so much into me. And so like that's what I continued doing with people, like once we got married, like, and that's still my dream. Like I still want to console people. I still want to listen to people. Like I want to help people. But at the same time, like I'm also, and that's kind of where like I'm in a struggle, because I'm also along the lines where I love working with kids, but above all, I love working with teenagers. Sorry, one of our childs woke up and came into my arms. Oh. I think I got unplugged because I can't hear me now. Okay, there it goes. And that's also part of my testimony and my gifts. Like, I came to Christ when I was 17. Well, like the seed was planted when I was 16, but I didn't give my life to Jesus until I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I went through a lot my high school years. Like, I did it all. I tried it all. I did it all. Like, and so I have a special place in my heart for the youth still, because I know what the struggles of life are. I know that they feel lost, that they don't feel understood, that they're trying to find themselves and trying to fit into the world and trying to, you know, feel like their parents don't love them, don't understand them, like they're alone. Like I just get it. So yeah, I'm somewhere in those lines, and I don't know what I'm doing with my life yet. But yeah, that's where we are as a family right now. It's been 2 weeks that Danny has not been working, hasn't had a stable income because we've been hustling. We've been hustling. We've been trying to make a way, and honestly, I felt like we were falling a whole lot behind. Like today, we sat down and said, okay, like this is how much we have left. This is what needs to get paid. This is what's coming. Like I don't know. After that, again, I didn't walk out of that stressed. I didn't walk out of that like, oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? Before we did that, I was, but after that, I was like, okay, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Like, this is doable. This is doable. And we're just, like I told my parents the other day, because my parents are checking in on me every day, like, how are you guys doing? What's the update? And at first, I was getting annoyed. I was like, not annoyed, but also like, I didn't want to tell them the full detail and the full, ¿cómo se dice? I just didn't want to tell them the whole detail, and I didn't want them to ask questions and details because my parents are the type of people that they'll carry our burdens and they'll try to fix it and find a solution. And my dad will send us money and send us money and send us money, and I'm just like, dude, we are okay. You're just making me feel like I owe you a bunch of money.
Exactly.
And my dad's like, no, I can help. Let me help. And if I ever need your help and you can help, then you help. Like, he's like, you don't owe me it back. But, guys, in the back of my head, I'm just like, I do. Like, you're old. You did your life of raising me for 21 years. Like, I should be taking care of you right now. But no, he does it for his grandbabies. He doesn't do it so much for me. He does it for them. But what was I saying with that? No, we're here, baby. Right here. We're good. We're good. Through it all, we trust God. So if you reach out and ask how we're doing, and I tell you we're hanging on by a thread, like, it's a thread of, it's not a thread of like, ¿cómo lo explico? You know those line walkers, like those people who walk on rope?
Tightrope.
Tightrope. Like, have you seen the ones that do it like in Green Canyon and stuff? Like they do it from one to, I feel like that's how we are. Like those people, like they know the danger. They know if they fall, like it's gonna be a great fall and it's gonna be horrible. But their adrenaline and their love and passion for that keeps them going, and like, no, I'm gonna get to the other side and I'm gonna be perfectly fine. I feel like that's how we are right now. Like we're tightroping at the Grand Canyon, but we're gonna keep going because we know God's gonna catch us if we fall, and when we make it to the other side, it's gonna be amazing. It's kind of how I feel like we are right now.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right? Like
Yeah.
it's that like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it, but the adrenaline of, but I know good is coming. I know good is coming.
Yeah.
That keeps us going, and just pray for us. Don't worry about us. Don't feel pity for us. don't send us money.
Unless you really want to.
Unless God places it in your heart, go for it. But if we share this, it's not for pity. It's not to ask for limosna.
¿Qué es eso?
Like an offering.
Oh, okay.
Or, yeah, it's not us asking. And that's kind of like I was trying to tell my parents too. Like when I share with you guys, it's not me telling you, you know,
that we need money.
Yeah, like my dad sent me money because I was joking around with him. I was like, yeah, and of course in these 2 weeks that Danny is out of work, like of course everything runs out at the same time. Like we bought things in bulk from Sam's and we were like, oh yes, this has lasted like 6 months. Woohoo. And now shampoo ran out, deodorant ran out, toilet paper ran out, baby wipes ran out. Dish soap will run out. Detergent ran out. Yeah. Like everything ran out at once. And I was like, whoa. Like nothing has ever run out at once. It's like, oh, we need toilet paper. Okay, toilet paper. Oh, it's always been one at a time.
One at a time, yeah. It's never all at once.
And right now it's like, oh, here goes all at once. And I was literally just, I like the same way I'm talking about it now. Like I was laughing. I was like, of course. But I knew we were going to be good. And my dad was like, oh, here's $100. Go buy detergent. Did I use those $100 on that? No. Because I also went back into couponing. We couponed today and we got some good deals.
Really good deals. And at Target.
Of
all places.
At Target. We got shampoo for practically free. And then dishwasher pods for practically free.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was saying, just pray for us, guys, and just stand in the gap of believing with us. And if you want to call us crazy and, like, it doesn't make sense to you, like, estos están locos, like, y'all are gonna fail, thanks. And it doesn't need to make sense to you guys. It doesn't need to make sense to everybody. It makes sense to us. We're at peace, and we know we serve a mighty God who promises to not leave us nor forsake us, and that has great plans for us, plans to give us hope and prosper in the future and not to harm us, and that his mercies are new every day. So even if we do fail and mess up, his mercies will be new every day, and we're taking one day at a time. Oh, and I was saying, like, I also told my parents because I felt like, because they're like, and when is the exam? And when is this? And then, like, I felt like they were, and it's probably not, but I felt like they were saying, you guys aren't getting anything done. The days are going by and you're not getting anything done. And yesterday I was like, we're getting things done, guys. We're not just sitting around in our butts. Like, we're trying to figure it out. And they felt my defensiveness because they're like, we're not saying you're not doing anything. We just want to know the updates. Like, that's not us saying that you're not doing anything. And that's what I want to tell you guys. Like, we're not just sitting here talking to you guys with our arms crossed, just like, all right, God, waiting on you. No, we're taking steps of action. We're taking steps of faith. Because if this bus driver job doesn't go through, we have other options and other projects we're working on. Because again, the goal isn't for Danny to go, like, if this bus driver job doesn't go through, the goal is not for him to go back to a 9-to-5 job. The goal is for him to have a 24-hour job. Not just
hey, you know those reels that you see about that? Those TikToks? It's like,
I left my 9-to-5.
I left my 9-to-5 so that I can work 24/7.
And be my own boss.
Like. But, and I always said it too. It's like, when I leave this job, like, that's the last job like that I want to have. Like, that's it.
There you go. There's your answer. Yeah, we're not gonna go into details, but that's the goal, to be our own bosses. We almost went to a bank today to ask for a business loan.
You wanted to go to the bank.
Hey, it's possible. I don't know, guys. I don't know, but it's kind of one of those situations too where we don't want to say too much, but we already kind of shared a lot. And we'll just keep you updated on what happens. And again, just keep us in your prayers and stay tuned for this crazy ride because it's only going to get more interested from here.
Yep.
More interesting from here. And we're here to share it all again. This was I felt like last week was very deep, but this was even deeper. Like, if you're listening to this, feel like family and send us a message saying we're rooting for you, family. We got you, family.
If you've made it this far, I consider you fan number one.
Yes. And send us a message on Instagram.
Porque I think this is double of last week. Because, like I said last week, like on my phone, it doesn't tell me time, but it tells me bars that we've been recording. Last week, I think it was like 2,000 something bars. We're sitting at 4,180
Oh,
bars.
yeah. So we're probably at 2 hours.
We're probably at 2 hours
so
now.
If you made it this far, we'll do a giveaway. No, I'm just kidding.
Not yet. And maybe in the future.
But no, for real. Send us a message or leave a comment saying family, we're family, or the fan number one emoji. Is there a fan number one emoji?
I think so.
Let me look.
We're looking right now.
This way we know who
actually listen to the whole thing. Because, like, obviously when we can log in on like Spotify and YouTube and we can see how many plays or views we've had, but obviously they don't tell us what do they consider a play or something like that. Like, does listening just a couple minutes consider a play, or do you have to listen to the whole thing?
No, there's not a fan number one.
Oh, okay.
But send us a message saying we're family or the 100%.
The 100.
The 100 emoji. And yeah, it's only gonna get more interested from here, and we'll share with you guys our realizations of mistakes that we made along the way. We hope that if we do make mistakes, that they'll be they won't be in vain. I mean, they won't be in vain.
They won't.
God will teach us something, and we'll be able to teach y'all something and help y'all out. But if this turns into something great, which I know it's gonna turn into something great regardless, like, we're here to also share it and be a blessing to others, because this is the time. This is the time to really listen to what God is telling you in your lives. If you've been feeling the same toll of, I don't want to waste my time in this job, I want to live for God fully, that's what he's calling us to do. That's what he's calling us to do. And I know it because when I shared this with another sister in Christ about Danny and all that, she said, it's because that's what God doesn't want us to waste our time in these jobs. Like, he wants us to really 100% rely on him while we do his kingdom work. And so if you've been feeling that tug, take this as a sign. If you feel like you're in a struggle boat like we were, when we first moved, like, you're not alone. If you're struggling mentally, like, I went through a lot of mental health struggles in all those seasons. And like I said, I never got diagnosed by a doctor officially, but when I did mention it to my doctor, she said, like, it sounds like it might be seasonal depression. If it happens again, come back. And I never went back, but it's real, the anxiety and depression. But God is even realer. It's not a word.
More real.
God is more real. And God is greater than anxiety and depression. And he can give you that joy to jump on the couch with your kids. Wow, that deserves to go on a book. But that's it, guys. I'll keep going if we don't stop here. I really will, because there's just so much. But thanks for listening. We love you and appreciate you guys. We're family from now on. And just share share because it might touch someone else. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week for episode 3. Can you hear Layla snoring?
Maybe.
Good night, guys. Sweet dreams. Bye.
Bye.
Trying to be like Layla.